Now then, notice here that all the angles are going basically in the same direction, all the highlight angles. Now then, when we start putting the shadows on, they'll go in the opposing or opposite angle. See? And that makes those highlights just pop out. Now if you want this little peak to be in the background, put that shadow in first. Then when you come here, bring this one distinctly through. And that easy. That easy, you pushed the mountain back. I told you had a lot of power here. See? We'll put a little touch right in there. This peak right there needs its own little shadow. There we go. And let that paint break. It's a very delicate touch. Very delicate touch. And you sort of work it back and forth. Redefining firm edges. Maybe that comes on out. Right on around. When you're practicing, get an old canvas or something and just paint mountain after mountain. It'll teach you control, teach you how to make some of these fantastic effects. Okay? Good clean dry brush. I want to again create the illusion of mist down here. So very gently, following the angles in the mountain, always following those angles. Just tap. Be sure your brush is clean and dry. Then lightly, just 2 hairs and some air. Lift upward. 2 hairs and some air. Boy, that is light. Just barely grazing the canvas. Over here, follow these angles. And same thing, lift upward. But just on the base. Let me show you a little trick. Maybe you want to show another range of mountains right in front here. Okay? Watch here. Watch here, watch here. Let's start off and put a little highlight on there. See there? There he goes. Maybe, who knows, maybe in your world, maybe there's a bump. There's right there. All you have to do, make a decision and drop it in. Because you can do anything on this canvas. Anything that you want to do. That easy. But now we need a shadow. Watch right here. See, this makes no sense until you slip back in here and put a happy little shadow right in there. See, then bloop, just jumps right up there. All right, here we go. Just like that. See, every highlight needs its own shadow or it won't come out and play with you. All right, and a couple here and there. Okay, now then, clean dry brush, and we'll put some mist at the base of this little mountain. But see how you can put another mountain right in front of that one? That easy. That easy. I told you had power. You can do anything. All right. Any old thing. Okay. Okay, let's have some fun. We'll just keep that same old mountain color we got here. That was black, Prussian blue, some Van Dyke brown, some crimson, and I'll add a little touch of sap green to it. Just a little bit of sap green. So we have a very dark color. Okay, I'll clean off my knife. Let me reach over here. Today, let's use a 1-inch brush. I'm gonna go right into that color. Just tap a little color in there. Let's go right down at the base of this mountain, and maybe down in here, there's some little trees and bushes that live right down in here. Just push, bend the brush upward, push it. That makes all those little things just happen. That easy. There they go. There's another one. Wherever you want them to be. Okay. There. Ooh, looks like I've got one heck of a mess there. Let me show you though. See now, one of the things used to drive me crazy when I was traditional painting was reflections. Watch how easy. Just grab that and pull it down. Because the canvas is wet, the paint will move, and reflections can be made that easy. Pull straight down and then go lightly across, just enough to distort it a little. That easy. Instant reflections. Instant reflections. Now let's put some highlights on there. I'll dip a 1-inch brush into a touch of the, just a touch of the liquid white. We'll go through some yellow. Reach up here and grab some sap green. Okay, a lot of paint. Let's go right up in here. Now then, let's just come right in here And we'll throw some beautiful little highlights on these. And we'll sort of vary the colors. And I'll hit a little ochre, a little Indian yellow here and there. Maybe even a little touch of bright red. See, now while you have this on the brush, we can reflect some of it right down into the water. Shoot, we're having so much fun with reflections here. Why not keep them going? It's another little bush. Let him reflect right into the water. Right into the water. Maybe this one right here. Ooh, that's a pretty one. Reflect him down into the water. Another one right there. Wherever you think they should live. See, now you can go in and push the brush upward. Just see there? Isn't that super? And just make all kinds of happy little things. Put a little bit right down in there. Now then. Back to the 2-inch brush and 2 hairs and some air again, very lightly. Just caress it. Make love to it. Straight down, and very lightly go across. Very lightly. And that's a super way to make those mirror reflections, and it's easy. It's easy. I'm going to take a touch of the liquid white to that. I'll add a little bit of brown, a little bit of the dark sienna. Pull it out very flat and then cut across it. Okay, let's go up here. Now with that, I'm going to reach right in here and use a firm pressure. And let's just cut in a little water line. You really get tough with it. Cut it right into the fabric. Just really cut it. There. See there? Isn't that easy? You can put a little ripple here and there if you want it. That's sort of up to you. Now keep these water lines and ripples basically straight. If they're not straight, your water will look like it's going to run right out of your painting on the floor and get the floor wet. We don't want that to happen. Okay, I'm going right back to the 1-inch brush into the dark color. Very dark color. Pull the brush. A lot of paint. Give it a wiggle. We're trying to make a sharp chisel edge. See how sharp that brush is? Very sharp. It takes a lot of paint on the bristles to hold it together. Okay, now then, maybe there lives in our world right here a happy little evergreen tree. And we start off by just making a line, then just using the corner of the brush. See there? And you can do this with a 2-inch brush or the fan brush. Fan brush makes nice, delicate ones. 1-inch brush, anything. Anything. There, okay. Between each tree, bring it back to a nice sharp chisel edge, very sharp. Just the corner of the brush. As you work down the tree, add more and more pressure. And you're using more of the brush. But the angle that you hold the brush is basically the same through the entire tree. It's just that you're adding more and more pressure so it pushes, bends the brush. Okay, I tell you what, let's have one more right there. Right there. If you had 2 trees there, sooner or later you'd have a 3rd one. You know how them little rascals are. You got to watch them. There. Okay, now maybe under here something lives. Little bushes and stuff live right out here. Just push them in. Just push. Push the brush upward. Now one thing you want to avoid, don't let the brush slide. If the brush slides, watch, if it slides, you're going to get that kind of effect. Don't let it slide. Push it, bend it. Okay, now, let's put a little bit of that down here. We'll have some reflections in this water. I like reflections. But isn't that the nicest way you've ever seen to make reflections? There. Tell you what. Shoot, we don't want this other side to get left out while I have the old brush dirty here. Let's go over on the other side. I'll reload the brush the same way, bringing it to a nice sharp chisel edge. All right, let's go back up here. Maybe we'll have a big evergreen that lives right here. Just the corner of the brush, back and forth. Had a lady in class one time, she called these Z trees, like Zorro. And that's sort of a good analogy, sort of just back and forth. Back and forth. Well, I traveled and taught for many, many years and met some of the most fantastic people in the country. And I still correspond with a lot of them. Because you can't believe some of the paintings people are doing now after taking a class and a couple of years of practice. It's just unreal. We have several people that have literally quit their job and they went into painting full time. Now they're happier. Painting makes you happy. Don't think you can be sad and do this. Shoot, let's have another little bush that's right here. Like so. I've got too old and tired. I don't do much traveling and teaching anymore. We have a staff of teachers that travel and teach now, and they're fantastic. They are fantastic. See, same old color here. Same color. Just pop in some little things wherever you want them. If I'm not careful, I'm going to cover up the whole canvas. Okay. Like so. All right. Now then, let's go back to the 2-inch brush. Decide where reflection and land meet here, and grab it and pull straight down. It's important you pull straight down. You don't want your reflections to be all crookedy. Okay, then lightly go across. See? Over here, make the same decision. Where do you want this one to be? Right there. Right there. Right there. And pull him down. Anything you don't like, you just turn it into reflections. That easy. We don't make mistakes. Shoot, we have happy accidents. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of the dark sienna, put a little white into it, pull that paint out as flat as I can get it, and cut across. And once again, we have that small little roll of paint. Okay, let's go right up here to this old evergreen tree. We'll just put the indication here and there, little trunk in there. Like so. Same thing on the other side. There we go, just wherever you think they should be. And you won't see the whole trunk, so just here and there. You can also just take and scrape through and make all kind of little bushes and sticks and twigs. And people will think you spent a lot of time putting them rascals in. And don't you tell them any different. That's our secret. All right, I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to reach up here and grab a little bit of black. Black and yellow make a beautiful, beautiful dark green. Pull that brush in one direction. Okay, now then, let's just begin popping in some little highlights on these trees. Now think about the individual limbs that live in this tree. Don't just throw these on at random. I know sometimes it looks that way, but sort of think like a tree. There we go. Pick up a little bit of the yellow ochre, and we can begin reflecting this right into the water. And if your paint won't stick, if you have trouble making it stick, add the least little touch of paint thinner or a little bit of the liquid white. Either one. But work in layers, doing the bush or the tree that's the farthest away and coming forward. See how you can create the illusion of distance and depth? That easy. That easy. There's another one. What's a sparkler there? Pretty little devil. Like him. Like him. There. See, these little things are real to me. Somebody wrote me a letter and said, "God, you refer to these things like they were real people. They have arms and legs." And you know, you have to be a little weird to be a painter, so they're real to me. These are my friends. All right. Tell you what, let's go on the other side. Same thing. Same thing. Let's put some happy little bushes and trees and... Oh, that's a nice one. See, and there's nothing wrong with making friends with nature. Nothing wrong with it. One day nature's going to take over again and you're going to need a friend. There. Just get a touch of the bright red and maybe... Ooh, there's a pretty one. Look at that son of a gun shine. right up in there. There we go. Another one. Once again, though, we're layering these. So it creates that illusion of distance. And we can reflect some of that right into the water. See how easy it is to make some of the most striking reflections. And if you're out selling paintings, boy, this will sell your painting. People love these little reflections. Now pull straight down, very light. Very, very light. I mean, just, ooh, one hair and some air. Okay, now then, let's take a little bit of Van Dyke brown on the knife. We need some land for all this to settle. Don't want it to fall over in the water and make a big splash. Don't want your tree to drown. You just made friends with him. There. See there? And maybe right up in here. Look at that. Look at that. Now think about the lay of the land and pull this just like it was real. Just give it a pull, because water normally sets in a recessed area, so you want this to have the impression it's lower. So I'll take some dark sienna, a little Van Dyke brown, a little white, and let's come right in here and put a few little highlights on this. See there? Make it look like rocks and stones and all kinds of little things. That easy. But angles are very important. A little bit of the liquid white. And we drop in just some little water lines under here, just like we did in the background. Just cut them in. Follow them along the other side. See there? And we'll take this old brush. I'm just going to put a few highlights. Old clock on the wall tells me it's about time to go for today. So as I finish up this tree here, I'd like to wish you happy painting. Glad you could join us. And today I thought we'd do the little painting that you see at the opening where the little character throws the brush and everything. So I tell you what, let's start out and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. While they're doing that, let me show you what I've got done up here. Have our standard old pre-stretched canvas. And I've taken a little black gesso and just took a little sponge and just sort of tapped in some basic little shapes. That's really all you have to do, is just take a sponge and sort of tap in there. I've let that dry totally. Then I've covered all the black area here with liquid clear, and on top of that just a little bit of sap green mixed with a little Van Dyke brown. Just the browns are just to dull the green down a little. The top is with liquid white as usual. And with that, we're going to do that little painting. So let's start out today. Take a little bit of phthalo blue, just a very small amount on the old 2-inch brush. And I'll reach up here, be right back, get a little bit of black. So we have blue and black, or black and blue, whatever your preference. There. Let's go up in here. And we'll just put in just a little sky back in here. This is just phthalo blue and midnight black. There we go. And you determine if you want it to be more to the dark side or the blue side. It's up to you. Up to you. There, we'll just sort of let it just come right over these. We don't care. But both of these colors are very transparent, so the black gesso will still show through, which is exactly what we wanted to do in this particular painting. A little more black, a little more blue. There we are. And we'll just put that in, using little crisscross strokes or little X's, whatever you want to call them. Whatever. There. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, that's the way the teacher used to grade my paper when I was in school. She'd just go through it and go X, 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 X. That's how I learned to do this. There. All right. Okay, and that's basically all we need for a little background sky.